Welcome to Rams Brawl 4, episode 4. That's right. We are here to grade the LA Rams 2020 draft. And with me today are former Rams linebacker Tommy Polley and running back Arlen Harris. And I got to tell y'all, these two gentlemen are wound up. I have never seen these two guys wound up for a show. And granted, it's only been 4 shows this far, but I think we're in for a fun one. I'm going to start with you, Arlen. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Like you said, ready to talk some draft and glad everything went well and ready for this quarantine to be lifted. You
and me both. I'm about done with this. I am getting stir crazy here. Tommy, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm just watching all the stuff play out, how it played out. So I hope they go back to something like that. Just get more guys involved in the draft. But I'm doing okay. Like Arlen said, just trying to get this quarantine. Hopefully Friday they let us out for a little bit.
It's not like you're a cage animal. Take you out, let you out and go. I just saw the 2000 song. Who let the dogs out?
I'm going to go protest. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down to the courthouse on Friday. I'm gonna protest.
Yeah, I feel like we're in the Hunger Games.
So it's not like it's that serious yet. That serious, but this draft, judging from the early conversation between you two, this draft got serious for you all real quick. And go right away into your opening statements of the week. If you were to just give one statement on the weekend that was the NFL draft, what would it be? I'm going to start with Arlen. What was your statement of the week?
Ooh, statement of the week. There were some surprises. I think it went well. I'm glad things went off without a hitch. I think some teams stayed true to form. It was a different environment, like TP said. I think it was pretty cool to see the excitement, see them at home, seeing the genuine responses to the selections and some of the guys that felt like they got passed on. But all in all, that's going to come with it. But, I think there's going to be some surprises. And now that they're drafted, it's that window now, right? Because now they're in a holding pattern. I know the virtual training and the meetings have already started this week. So that's going to be another obstacle and something new for some of these guys. But, all in all, I would say that I'm going to use the word interesting. I think it was interesting to see how this is all played out, and it's still not over with.
Interesting. Okay, there we go. Tommy, your statement of the week.
I'm going to say it's entertaining. I enjoyed the whole thing. Consider there wasn't anything to do. I think the draft kept us well entertained. It wasn't just the picks. It was the in-home activities. When CeeDee Lamb, when CeeDee Lamb got drafted and he grabbed the phone from the girl, I mean that was hilarious. And when the mom waved the girl, the one family member off, like, no, I get my hug first. So I mean it was a bunch of theatrics going on there, but I'm sure it was a lot of stuff we didn't know that was happening. But like I said, my one word would be entertaining.
Entertaining. Okay, so the opening part here, just the opening conversation before we even went on the air, you two were already going at about the draft, talking about how it compares to past drafts and so on and so forth. So, Tom, I come to you right away and we're not going to delay the analysis, delay the grade. If you're going to give this draft a grade for the Rams, what would you give it and why?
I'm going to give it a B-. And I'm going to tell you why. I knew they was going to go offense. I thought they was going to go O-line maybe, but I guess the guy wasn't there. Let's start with the first pick. Let's go with Cam Akers. I mean, Florida State guy. Arlen broke him down last week, and he could put his foot in the ground. I think he does some great things as a scat back, third down back, but I would have took Zach Moss. And this is the reason why. I like Cam Akers.
Wow.
I think he's a star. I do. Florida State, no. But I'm taking Zach Moss. And this is the reason why. In that division, it's going to be a hard-nosed physical division. I played linebacker, in the league. And a 210-pound back is like, it's lunch meat back there. It's savaging at the mouth at a 210-pound back. Like, that's what you're looking for, lunch meat. I mean, 225-pound back, 230-pound back. That third or fourth quarter, that's when things get interesting, and that will get broken with them bigger backs. Cam Akers, can he stay healthy? Can he take that pound? Can he be there every down back? So those things I don't know at the league. But for his offense, for Coach McVay's offense, he fits perfect. He's another tool he can use. He can go 5 out, pick 5 guys out in the route, and he does everything he's asked. But it's just when it gets late in the season, Zach Moss would have been your bell cow. Where these guys that he got on the roster now, I mean, there's no linebacker really studying that back there as far as coming downhill. Van Jefferson, I like Van Jefferson. I like the pick. He got pedigree, good size, good speed. I mean, paid at Florida. They didn't have a quarterback the whole time he was there. I mean, Pepe, Felipe, whatever his daggone name is. I mean, he wasn't really that good, but I mean, his father played in the league, so he's smart, good IQ. So I think he got good hands. I think he's going to do well in the system. And he fits with Cooper Kupp and Woods. I think you put him in there, all 3 of those guys with Reynolds, now you got something. Instead of, you got 2,000-yard receivers. So you put Van Jefferson in there, I think he'll be okay. And you don't need a number one. That's why you got McVay. He's going to draw up the plays for you and get those guys open. So I come from Bama. Great program. So in practice he was going against studs every day. So he's going to be NFL ready. Played in the top conference. Played against LSU. LSU had 14 picks. So he just got to stay healthy. And he a DMV kid. So he's gonna come with that gritty attitude. His thing is he just got to stay healthy. Terrell Burgess, I like Terrell Burgess. I think he's the sleeper of the one. I think he's going to play a lot next year. He tackles well, local kid, great attitude. He was a captain at Utah. Utah had put some good players in the draft this year. So I think that was a good pick. Bryce Hopkins is a receiver, and you asked why they got out of tight end. Well, he's a receiving tight end. McVay does a great job of deploying three tight ends. I know as a defensive coordinator and as a linebacker in the league, man, it's tough guarding them or getting them run fits with them three tight end deployed. I mean, that's a tough thing. So you put them out there with the 3 tight ends they have, all of them can catch. They can block pretty good. So I think that's just another tool for McVay to use. Another guy I really like is Clay Johnson. He was a 7th round pick linebacker out of Baylor. He's hard nosed. I think he's gonna play on all special teams. Great attitude. He's from a football family. I think he's gonna be he's gonna be a sleeper. He's gonna play a lot. And I like the guy I think I don't think he's gonna play next year. I think he'll be on development. I think he'll help him down the road at a guard and a tackle position. He started 4 years at Clemson. You know he was going against studs in practice. I mean, they had Clemson had 2 first-round picks last year in the draft, so he was going against them every day. You know he's going to be somewhat ready. So I'm looking at this. You got 4 guys that's going to be in that. That's going to be in heavy rotation. Cam Akers might start. Jefferson probably starting the 3 wide receiver sets. Terrell and Burgess are probably starting some packages. And Clay Johnson would be a core special team. So I mean, I think the draft pretty good for him. Like I said, the first pick I just took Zach Moss. That's the only one I'm kind of, even though you're a Florida State guy, I just don't feel like he fit that division. He's more of a NFC South type of guy where, they don't bang as much as maybe the NFC West. So that's my opinion on it. So I give him a grade of B-. All
right, Arlen, your grade, sir.
All right, I'm over here rubbing my hands together because I think I'm gonna give him a strong B. A strong B. First of all, I can't believe a fellow Seminole does not want Cam Akers on this football team. I know we talked about it, we evaluated him. I thought that was actually a phenomenal pick. I know after his combine, people thought about his status would go up, and it did. Whether he was a 2nd round pick, I think with this group of running backs and the way they played out, I think he definitely should have sat there. And remember, 2 weeks ago when we first talked about the needs, to our credit, TP and I said back because what was the first big story? Gurley, you had to replace Gurley. You know what I mean? You need some of that star power, and that's in essence you have some success in the run game. It'll protect your quarterback. Then we talked about receiver, where people, we talked about them being comfortable with the receivers. But in this Jefferson pick, I think it's interesting, all right, because I think the kid's talented. I heard him talk maybe the day after the draft, and he's not even healthy. And they had to be aware of that. So he's like walking around in the boot. When I was playing for the Detroit Lions, his father, Sean, was the receiver coach. So I know he's an NFL kid. I know he's smart. He runs good routes. T. Holt was talking about he likes how his stop and start and accelerating out of the breaks. But to me, again, he falls right into that window of Kupp and Woods. And I know people like Reynolds, which is fine. But I would have liked him go with a bigger receiver or someone that doesn't do exactly what those other three guys do. But again, I think he'll do well. I think he fits in that offense. I would have loved it for them to, pick up Mims or a big threat on that outside, a pounder, somebody more physical, because I feel like you can play all three of their receivers right now the same way. I know Kupp's going to get more respect because he does a lot of good things after the catch. And this kid has potential, but I think they bring him in. I don't know if he's going to crack the lineup right away. I think it'll be if someone needs to get spared, and as he continues to grow and get healthy, he'll end up being a player. But using that pick right then, I'm going to go get a guy that's going to be a threat on the outside and that's going to bang up some of them corners off of the press and maybe some of that two-man stuff. But all in all, I think going offense, the first two picks, remember last week I backed off of that. I wish I'd have stood on it because I'd have looked like a genius, but I got off of it. But with Akers, again, I'm coming at you, TP. I did my homework. I know you're talking about size, and you brought up the Niners. If you look at the Niners, the biggest back they had touching the ball, McKinnon, is 205. Then the guys are 197 and 190. So those guys.
What about all them first rounders on the offensive line?
Huh?
We got the same offensive line. The Rams got the same offensive line like the San Francisco 49ers. That's what you comparing them to?
No, well, I'm just saying we talking about the size of the back. I think Akers run hard. You know what I mean? He played in the ACC. He is Seminole, so I know you're going to give him I think he's a hard-nosed kid. And then I think being able to add those wrinkles, I thought it was interesting that he has a quarterback background, right? So I think Sean McVay sees him as, you know what, we can keep him accountable. I don't know if they'll do any wildcat or get nothing too crazy, but I think this kid's a home run hitter, man. I really like him. I think he's a smaller girly, right? You know what I mean? So we'll see how that happens, but they're not going to pick a back first, and that guy, you said he's starting. He's the guy. he's going to be the guy, and I mean right away. So that's my opinion on it. I think that's two good picks. And then after that, they went and got two safeties, two linebackers. We talked about those needs, outside linebackers. I would have liked to see them go with maybe an O lineman with that third pick. But I'm okay with it. I mean, when you get a kid from Alabama, he's battle tested. The Terrell Kid Lewis, I think that's a good pick as well. I don't think you can miss right there. But I think it was a thing of the Rams picking best available instead of going in with the positional game plan to say, okay, we need this, and this. I think when they were looking at the board, they saw what they liked, and maybe, they went more off of talent and best availability thinking down the road for a year or two, because that really improves with the tight end pick. Because when you look at, people's contracts and who they're going to have, and it's getting, some of these guys, that window is getting short for them. So I think they got some of these young boys to kind of get a year underneath their belt, and then they'll be able to filter in. But even that with being said, I know they like the O-line, and they can say that. But at the end of the day, these guys were in the back end of rushing. They threw the ball. They did. I forget where we were ranked, but I know we were top 10 throwing the ball, but then we were in the bottom 5 rushing. So that starts up front, too, and you got to protect your money. I would have got an O-lineman. We went back and forth. There were some guys available. I like that Jones kid, the guy out of Utah. You could have went and got that big tackle, or you could have snuck and got a guard instead of just using that with the last pick. And in free agency, they only took 20 free agents, and you're only going to go get one lineman, and then you picked up 2 other backs. They got 3 other D linemen. To me, I don't know why they're that secure in these young guys up front. And especially, like you said, in that division, what they're going to do is they're going to continue to pin their ears back and try to get at Goff and fluster him and not allow him to stretch the field. But all in all, strong B. I'm not going to go person by person. I like the first 3 picks. I thought it was aggressive. I was tickled by it. And, you got an Ohio State kid, some Big Ten kids. And I really like that the kid out of Utah as well. I like him I like him at safety. He got good ball skills, but I think they did well. I think they did well, and they got some star power there, and these kids going to filter. And I think I might have went a bigger receiver, and I'm sure I'm going to kill me. I know your boy's a baller. I know the tight end comes from NFL blood, but I'd have went with a bigger outside threat, and I'd have got an O lineman a little bit early. But I don't want to discredit Akers because of his size. I think that boy's going to be special.
Man, how hard was Mike Martz's offense?
It was tough. It was tough,
huh? So if you can't run the right route, I know Jeff is going to run the right route. That's what I'm saying. I know he's going to know his playbook. Mims, you come from that gimmick offense down there in Baylor. After I looked into it, I don't know. He just said acrobatic type catcher. Deep ball, just nah. That ain't good. And not McVay. That's all I'm saying. And McVay, he want precise route runner. You know, Mike wants your splits and your depth right, all that.
Yeah, but that's why you keep him outside. You don't move him. You tell him stay right there. You know whether he's X or Z, you don't move him. You a Z, and then and it's that changeup. I hear what you're saying, but he's coachable. You know, he'll be coachable. I think he could have still stretched the field like you said, but when you talk about Kupp, Reynolds, Woods, and Jefferson, they're all in that same mold, same size, same. And even like you said, even though Torrey and Isaac, you say, okay, they're in the same thing. But our third receiver, when they had Oz, Sean McDonald, Furry, Looker, all them was kind of that was our changeup guy.
That's when they started going down.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask this question. And I brought this up on my show, and I thought getting your perspective on this idea would at least be interesting. What if Jefferson was drafted to replace somebody? What if he was drafted to eventually replace a Robert Woods? And before you think you're crazy, Robert Woods' contract is up after 2021. Given the value he's brought to this team, he's probably due for something much bigger than he's getting now. His contract's viewed as a bargain right now. And the Rams are trying to pinpoint money for the future. And to be honest, at players like Jalen Ramsey and so on and so forth. So what if he was drafted to eventually replace Robert Woods, not to replace Brandon Cooks?
I think that'd be a big mistake. I see what you're saying. I don't know, because again, you got rid of Cooks, Gurley, you got rid of weapons. And remember, Cooks, he gave you 1,000. He was a consistent guy. You see what you're doing in Kupp. He's kind of, broadening out. And then the same thing with, we like Reynolds and what he could be in a develop. I think this kid, again, he's not even healthy. You know what I'm saying? And to pick him that high and just say, hey, we're going to just give him a year. They need some depth now. You know what I mean? So to bring him in to replace, I think is strong. And again, I don't think that's the case. I think they saw him on the board. I'm sorry, Jefferson's not healthy. He's walking around in the boot.
Okay.
This is his words. That's what I was saying. Like if they had a report that this is, we're not going to where we're going right now, and they're going in a rookie mini camp, he's not 100%. You know what I mean? And I know they were questioning, and this is coming his mouth. I was listening. I know they're questioning his speed, and he said, "Oh, well, I was kind of banged up. I couldn't run a 40." But at that time, I was down in Florida with Michael Johnson. I was dropping 4.45. I mean, we're picking up he's damaged goods like right now. You know what I mean? So we can say how smart he is and all that stuff, but he's not 100%. You know what I mean? So this is probably going to maybe work in his favor. Because I know his dad he'll get healthy, and by the time we get together, he'll be off to the races, and I think it's going to work out for him. But to think he's replacing somebody out the gate I'm not sure.
I'm thinking Woods is 20. His contract's up after 2021, so 2 years. In 2 years, at that point, they have to make a call. They're going to pay a now 30-some-year-old receiver who is going to be who he is, or can let him move on so they could pay somebody else. But
this is what I said. Number one,
I'm not saying I even believe what I'm saying. The thought just crossed my mind when I'm looking. It doesn't make sense to me to basically draft a third receiver in terms of the same style. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods are essentially close to the same style. Woods is a little bit taller than Kupp is. But they do the same thing. So you get a third guy whose strengths are in the same area, makes me think a little bit.
So why not Kupp?
There's no way they're cutting Kupp.
His production, they'll get a lot more for him. If that's the case, Kupp's the guy.
How much you think these guys should get? The number one receiver money? What we talking about here?
I'm not thinking.
What we saying? When I see AB line up at receiver, I see he takes another safety with him. None of these guys are going to take another guy with him. That's not, so when they hit the market, I mean, they're going to get some money. Don't misquote me on that, but it's not going to be where I don't think the Rams can't get it done. Salary cap will probably go up a little bit, so I
think the salary cap go up a lot in 2021, but overall, with Robert Woods, his contract is long regarded as a bargain, and he was making, I think, $8 million a year. So, coming up for renewal, how much do you think he makes?
Nobody's going to break the bank for him.
Well, that's what I mean, about 10.
But that was a real question. That wasn't me being. That was an honest question.
8. We talking about we stretching it.
He was signed at $8 million. He was signed at $8 million, and at the time, everybody thought they were overpaying for him. Now, as he gets to his fourth year, the universal thought is the Rams are underpaying the guy. That's why I'm asking the question.
No, I don't think they underpay him. I think he's getting nice money. I think he's getting average, a nice number 2 receiver money. And I think when they go up, when Isaac Bruce went up for his contract, he had to wrestle. The organization would give him his money. When Torrey Holt went up for his negotiation, he had to wrestle with the program. Why I'm saying that? I don't think none of these guys are none of them guys, and they had to wrestle with him. But Mike always was to the point where my offense make make them numbers. So I'm sure McVay is the same way. So when we talk negotiation, I'm sure they're going to say, well, I can pick me and you in the offense and run these and get 1,000-yard receiver. So these guys, they take a little bump in pay, but it's not going to be that much. So I think they'll get it done.
It's like when we got Terrence Wilkins. He wasn't doing this thing. They got rid of him quick. And he was a guy coming from Indy. You know what I mean? So and those guys, they didn't put up those Terrence Wilkins numbers.
So on the flip side around, what were the picks for you that weren't so good? What, like the ones that got you thinking, I have a real problem with this?
I wouldn't say no one had a real problem. I think, again, I said a strong B. I think I don't want to be too hard on the receiver pick. I think I like the safeties, the linebackers. The tight end, I think we got 2 solid tight ends. That tight end, that shocked me. If anything, I think the O-line pick should have went right there. And then, again, no offense, and then you go, I know we needed a kicker, but they picked up 2 guys out of free agency. And I know the one kid that they're pulling over from York had a boot on him. And you don't take I don't know, man. Like you take a kicker, you know what I'm saying? I know the kid got a boot and all that stuff, but the only kick that I know is the dude from Georgia that was draft worthy. And so
the kicker side of Les Snead had a prior, Les Snead had a prior relationship with the kid. Knows a kid from Georgia somewhere, like in high school. I think it's somebody that went to the same high school as him or something like that. But
well, there you go.
But I think he did well. I think they like him though. I think they expect him to play next year and be the guy. Like I said, I just the only pick I was kind of mad on was Cam Akers. That's it. And I like Cam Akers. I got Zach Moss on the board. And I'm as a linebacker, you get third and fourth quarter. I mean, them guys weigh on you. I mean, Marshawn Lynch type guys. You know what I mean? 210 pounds, 205. I mean, you talking about San Fran. San Fran had 3 backs. with one of the best O-line, all first rounders up there.
But they only the biggest is 205, and beast mode, he ain't beast mode no more. You know what I mean? So
that's not my point. The point I'm saying is
gone.
Back are 220 to 25 pounds or more. When they get late, when it's cold outside and they get late in the season, them guys weigh on you more than a 210-pound guy. That's all I'm saying.
Look, Derek, because I can't let this go. Let me just ask you.
Yeah, come on.
Let me ask you a question and make sure TP's ears are open.
I know.
How much did Marshall Faulk weigh?
I don't know. That's Marshall Faulk. That's why he got to go Jack. What about Edwin James?
I'm just asking.
What about the Danny and Tom?
Listen.
What about O.J. Simpson?
Hold on a minute. Marshall Faulk.
About 225 back.
I get where I see where he's going here, and I'll bring it right to you guys because Cam is a smaller back, right? And we're seeing some of these smaller backs, but there was a time, and I know you remember this time when running backs in the NFL, it was a standard that they were 5'11", 5'10", 5'9", 5'8", 200. Barry Sanders was freaking Barry Sanders. Emmitt Smith was 5'9", and all of a sudden it seems that we're shifting back to that. If a guy weighs 210, 205, but he's hard to see, he's like a little bowling ball in there. I mean, you guys have all played somebody who is shorter but has something to them for being with their center of gravity being shorter. Doesn't that matter too, Tommy?
Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but I think these offensive gurus out here, the offensive coordinators, the guys that's calling the plays, want 5 out. He wants a lot of toys. So the more toys I got, okay, like for instance, when Seattle played against Denver in the Super Bowl, right? They had the 1 yard line. What y'all doing at the 1 yard line? You got Marshall Beast Mode back there. You gonna get a ball to Beast Mode, right? But when it's about me, the offensive coordinator, I called this play. You see? But nobody thinking about that.
But they got Malcolm Brown for that too. Malcolm Brown came in the inside. That's what he's been doing for years. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I mean, I looked at his. I got you, but I seen his yards last year. He wasn't all productive like that. The average.
Well, let's be honest. Nobody was productive last year.
But he doesn't scare you.
Y'all hard on the running backs, man. Y'all hard on these backs.
Oh, who me? I'm defending. What are you talking about?
Look, I'm just saying the height wise, like all that stuff. I played. I was 5'10", 212. I was a thicker back. These 6'2", 6'3", 220 plus. That's not normal no more. That's back in the day where it was just one guy.
Henry.
Huh?
Henry. You forgot Henry.
Oh, hold on a minute. Arlen, you remember
about
this?
Cam Akers like he's Darren Sproles or
No.
Westbrook.
I'm not talking like that. Arlen, let me ask you a question. I'm going to take you guys back in football history. Think back down to 1990, 1992, 1993. There was like one back in the NFL who was above 6'1". It was Rod Bernstein. Remember him?
I'm not talking about
size.
I'm talking about
just hold on. 20. I get that, but listen, usually size comes with height if you're a running back, right? So, but then we saw this trend: 5'8", 5'9" guys going up to 6 foot, 6'1", 220, 230, 240, 6'2", 6, and now for whatever reason the trend's trending back toward a shorter back. I don't know why, but all the years I've watched football, but Tommy, in all the years I've watched football, have we not seen the shorter, mustier guys make some magic happen behind some decent offensive line? Not even great ones, just decent ones. Haven't we seen that before?
I'm not saying that them guys. No, we have. But to tote the mail, to carry the mail, I'm giving it to them 25 times, 20 times a game. It's late in the season in December. It's cold outside, and I need to run the ball. I'm not these guys. You gonna have to throw the ball, so you got to put the ball in golf hand. You're not running the ball with none of these little guys, and it's on against Seattle defense and San Fran defense. Are we serious? These guys now, nah.
Well, how big does he need to be?
You gotta have a stud back there.
How big does he need to be?
TB, how many big backs did you really play against?
225, Steven Jackson. He was a big back in the conference. New England, when we played them, they had Antoine, I forgot what his name. He was like 230, 235. Man, all the backs at that time was Edwin James was 225. Fred Taylor was 225. I can go on. You had to be 225 or better. Come on.
There was
Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson that played for the Rams. How big?
That's not normal.
He was
Brandon
240.
Steven Jackson. That's not. If you go through the history of football, your typical back has been 5'9", 210, 215. The average back. Look at all the dudes with the go. We talking. Man,
my point is the great ones was bigger than that.
No, sir.
What are you talking
Tony
about?
Dorsett, Emmitt Smith, Marshall Faulk. If you go up the top 10 backs, you might have one big guy in there. If you
are you talking about weight or are you talking about
LaDainian Tomlinson, O.J.
or
Simpson? Come on.
LaDainian Tomlinson, 5'10", maybe.
I'm not talking about height. I'm talking about 220, 225, 230. Height don't mean nothing to me.
Oh, you talking about weight?
Yes, 225, 230, them type of backs. I don't care about no 5'8", 5'9". That don't mean nothing. I'm talking about that back right there. When they get late and you need, he's gonna come down here and give you that. Not no little 205, 10-pound back. They not doing that. No, they not. No. Why Barry ain't never went? Barry ain't never went. He ran around, shook everybody.
The thing with the Rams offense, though, the Rams offense is moving more towards what? They have 11 personnel. They're moving more towards 12 personnel. They're gonna just throw different pieces at you and wear you out that way. We're gonna be going throwing for our first down over to Higbee, running over then.
Super Bowl.
Pardon me?
But they went to the Super Bowl doing what? Play action pass, right?
Yeah.
That year with Gurley had his best year. Play action, and then that's when it opened. That's when Goff is at his best. I don't think you want to drop back with Goff and have him read the field. I don't think that's where he's most successful at. I think he's a play action type of guy. He can come back and see what he got. Examine the field. So,
and I think a UVA, Bryce Perkins. I think that's a phenomenal free agent pickup. He's nothing like Goff. That kid's a phenomenal athlete. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out with them trying to get some depth at quarterback. I hope that kid makes the team. Not just because he a Cavalier, but that kid's an athlete. He'll be able to make some plays with his feet, and the kid got a phenomenal arm. So when we talk about different positions, I can kind of see where they're going, getting some more athletes and getting some more, like you used the word toys, because, they picked up 2 more backs and receivers. I mean, they're loaded when you look at their free agency. It's like they're trying to get a bunch of offensive skill guys. But
5 out.
But we'll see.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. I guess this really you guys were both kind of hard on the team about the offensive line. To me, no matter what, it all comes down to the offensive line now. They have the toys, as you guys are saying. They have, 3 deep at running back. You have receivers everywhere. You have, guys who can run routes out of people's shoes. But if your offensive line isn't doing his job for you, then it doesn't matter. So where does this put the Rams in terms of the offensive line? The Rams are showing a lot of confidence, and the guys are developing. What are your thoughts overall, Arlen?
I still think they needed some more pieces. They can say it to their blue in the face that we're comfortable with what we got, but that experience, and you saw last year or the past 2 years how they had to keep moving pieces around. I know they locked in, but I just would like to see, just like anybody else, God forbid somebody inside goes down, they're going to be right back from square one. And the proof is in the pudding. What did they do with these picks to get them out of being in the bottom 5 rushing? Using the same line? So this offseason, they didn't have
Cam Akers.
no OTAs, there's nothing. These guys are going to show up in July and they're just going to click, and you're going to miraculously just end up in the top 10 rushing. And I like Cam Akers, but he can't do it by himself, because if anything, that's going to be, now I'm going to have to hear that from Tommy. Look at this guy. Well, if he ain't got no holes in no space.
I've seen him at Florida State. They didn't have a line. He looked at
they going to screen. You're going to have to screen him to death. I'm not saying they can't, but again.
It's like
just
Mike Mock.
I think they needed some depth. They needed some depth and bring in at least one, Derek. Like, get one. No one's saying it had to be a second rounder. Just bring in someone that's going to push, or at least come
a
in
seventh
to be a
rounder
guy
for Clemson now. I mean, seventh rounder, yes, but Clemson guy.
He's a Clemson guy, but he's the third. He wasn't there. It wasn't like they had one pick in the seventh. I mean, they took a kicker before. He took a family friend before him. So, come on. Seventh round is a free agent. No offense. I mean, I've been there, done that, so I can say that. He a free agent. So, that shows you that wasn't on there. It was like, what do we got left? Let's go grab a lineman. And then you only bring in one free agent? Out of 20 guys, you get one other lineman? And you're going to get, we just talked about how deep they are at receiver. The running back situation, DBs, and you're only going to get one other O lineman in your free agency. To me, that's a problem, and that's going to come back to bite them. Because everything starts up front. Yeah. Everything starts up front.
Like Derek said before, I think on the last part, that they happy with the young guys they drafted in the prior drafts. They said they didn't see anybody there that was better than them. That was on the board. So you got to respect them for that at least. I mean, they held tight. But like Cam Akers, right? In this division, is this one of the top the defensive divisions in the league, right? You see what San Fran did, they just got another D tackle, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Seattle, they're going to play great defense with their front. Cam back, man, come on, man. You got Zach Moss back there running that ball, running through tackles, breaking tackles. I think he broke the most tackles. One of the in college football last year, Zach Moss did. So, nah. That's the only pick that was suspect. I mean, I think you could have got Cam probably in the third round.
So if you uproot Cam Akers and you put him in that same conference, you trying to tell me he saw the same talent that Cam Akers saw week to week?
In Utah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Utah. Yeah, I think Utah better than Florida State. The ACC was terrible. Matter of fact, yeah, we only had 3 first-round picks.
I mean, we're going off the picks, but I'm talking about what he's seeing every Saturday. Clemson.
That's it.
UVA. They was trash. They was good this year. They weren't good this year.
I'm looking in the draft, man. Utah had about 3 or 4 draft picks.
Man, so then we might as well just bow down to Georgia and LSU and not even talk about nobody else then. In Alabama, because they gonna take time.
That's what it seemed like.
They go.
Somebody better break.
Derek, I'm going to order me. The jerseys haven't come out yet. I'm going to get me an Akers jersey. I'm putting it on. I'm putting it on hold.
Let me ask you this question.
Jersey.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. This still is on the offensive line. I'm not letting go of it so easy. If you're the Rams and you had an offensive line that struggled earlier last year, and they deserve to be hammered for that, by the way. You have a guy, Noteboom, who struggled, started to get together, and then got hurt. Just as he was getting together. Brian Allen struggled. Then he got hurt. Blythe struggled moving to guard. Moving back to center, he does fine. Whitworth slowed down a little bit last year, still was the best offensive lineman on the team. David Edwards jumps in, plays well. When Havenstein, who was hurt for most of the year and no one even knew it, didn't play well. The other guy, what's his name from Oklahoma? Told Bobby Evans. Comes in, big boy, yeah. Does admirably. The problem they had across the board, though, was in the running game especially, they could not get push. Can that change in the offseason? Can these guys get stronger, get more in tune with what they're trying to do, and basically become a better offensive line just by having played through a lot of the crap from last year? Or are they just not very good, and that's why you guys are concerned about the offensive line?
I mean, we'll see. They got their hands full, I'll tell you that. The Rams do a pretty good job of developing their players. So they drafted those guys. They scouted them, so I guess they're going to give them a shot. I mean, they work with them every day. So, I mean, a couple of those guys, I mean, it's second, third round, you got to figure some of them guys that's on the roster now better than guys that was on that board. I mean, you just got to figure that they stronger, they bigger, faster, stronger, and they more mature. And like I said, when you got these offense gurus, man, it don't matter who we got an offense now. We're gonna get this ball out. We're gonna draw up something where the ball's gonna come out. We're gonna manipulate something. You can't underestimate those coaches who feel like their scheme and how they do things on their offense can overmatch or overthink whatever the defense is doing. I mean, that's why they're there. That's why they're the coach. That's why people expect them to score big points. So the offensive line, I mean, when I was with the Rams, I mean, we didn't have a great line. I mean, we had Orlando Pace, but shit, I mean, Ray Charles would have picked Orlando Pace. He was the pancake guy. Who was the rest of the guys on the O-line? Guys you never really heard of.
Timmerman, Turley.
Yeah. We had to get Turley a little late, came in. But Turley came in like my third year. I mean, he wasn't there. Timmerman was a little older, came from Denver. He had played in Denver for a lot of years. So, but I'm saying they wasn't going in the draft going to get guys. So, because Mike felt as though I can put me or you there and block and we'll get the ball out. So, I just think with those guys, they don't see the biggest need because I think they feel like their offense can get it done without the shiny offensive lineman that everybody think they need. And it's obvious here.
So, all that said, B's and B minuses for grades. The UDFAs, though, you mentioned one of them, Bryce Perkins.
Yeah.
Are there any that stood out to you guys?
Yeah, I got Levante Taylor, Virginia kid, Florida State kid, of course. But he's a former 5-star DB out of high school. Went to Florida State, didn't play well, battled injuries. He wasn't consistent, short, but he's an athlete. He's a poor man's LaMarcus Jordan. So if he comes in and maybe he can stick on the special teams, but he's going to compete hard, and I know he has a lot of pride because he was come from Florida State, and like I say, he's a former 5-star athlete, so he's going to come with a little swag. And Jalen, I know you know Jalen Ramsey a little bit, so I know they're going to talk a little bit about Florida State, so that's going to make them feel comfortable in the room. So if it's one guy to all the undrafted free agents, I'm going to go with Levante Taylor making the team.
What about you, Arlen?
I like the kid from, again, I like Perkins is a favorite of mine. I think he's an athlete. I got to watch him do some special things behind center, but also the wide receiver from Cal Polley, that J.K. Koski, same thing. He falls right into that mold. Like, clearly McVay likes those, he's not a short receiver, but kind of he'll fit right into that 6-foot range, and be able to play outside and inside. You know what I mean? I don't think he's just a distinctive, he has to be a 3, but that's really it. And I misspoke. I kept saying Utah. The lineman that I thought that they should have got, they passed up, was actually at Houston. Jones out of Houston. I kept saying Utah.
Josh Jones.
Yeah. I misspoke. I've been saying Houston. But again, I'm not gonna get off on that. But I would have liked to see maybe in free agency get a little bit more depth with bigs. But again, you see 2 backs in here, receivers, DBs. I mean, they didn't even go and get they got a couple. Well, no, they got a couple linebackers. So we'll see. It's like they got depth, 1 or 2 positions, except at quarterback and O-line. And to me, that's where I think it's going to be one out. You gotta get sure up front. But so we'll see.
All right. So last thing here for you guys. With draft being us on quarantine, and the draft being on quarantine, everybody's on quarantine. They had cameras to players' houses. What did you guys think of the difference, the change from players' houses to here and now? From the normal to the players' houses.
Oh, I loved it. Me personally, like I said, to get the view, get the behind-the-scenes action with all the antics that was going on. I mean, it was great. And it also gives with all the stuff that was happening, guys living out their dreams in real life, and a lot more people got to see the reaction and the family celebrations so I mean I think it was a great thing. In years past, they only had a few guys that did that, and those are like what was the higher profile guys. But this year it was like more of the guys in the second, third round, fourth round guys, fifth round. I mean, it went all the way down. So I think the more cameras, the better. I think it was entertainment throughout. Kept me in tune. I know it wasn't really nothing to do, but it kept me in. Usually after the second, third round, I usually use answers, but I pretty much watched this all the way through.
Yeah, I thought it was a good little twist. Yeah, I thought it was a good little twist. I think working out some kinks where it was almost like we were getting the feed, knowing that who was going to get selected, and then you would see them on the couch or whatever, and not really showing emotion. And then when they went back, you would see them get excited and all, maybe closing that gap. Because I know I was sitting there with my wife and like, why does he not seem excited and looking too? I said, nah, he don't. They're gonna come back and go to it, and then you see him screaming and get emotional and seeing that that genuine response. But I think it's pretty cool seeing kids in their own element, getting a lot more of the backstories as well. I think they went in depth with a lot of the upbringing of some of these kids, and that's always fun to watch. But I don't know. I still like the carpet though. Seeing them stand up there holding the jersey and kind of having the flashing lights on them. But that's easier for me to say. I think you make it an option. Some want to stay home. Some want to go. If they think they're going to be top 10 pick. It'd be nice to see. I know the fans want to get there in person. And celebrate with them and all the festivities with that. But I think it was a step in the right direction, and it's going to open up a lot of. You even see some of the sponsorships. Some of these kids got hit. Wearing some of their. What was the one kid that wore a robe, like an Old Spice robe? You know what I mean? So it might open up doors for, who knows, for them to get seen in different ways. But I think it was good. I think like Tommy said, I think it was entertaining. I definitely watched more of the draft. Probably being stuck inside, but it made me want to keep coming back and learn about some of these kids that I might not have had on my radar.
All right, so all that said, the rosters are going to start settling. We're heading in for the, how do you say it, dead of winter in the football calendar. Let me ask a question as we're leaving here. Once the draft was over for you guys as players, what did you guys do as mini camps started coming around and so on and so forth? How did you guys stay in the mind of getting ready for NFL season?
Well, I don't think you ever lose that. That's damn near 12 months out of the year you think about in some form or fashion. But I think about usually for me about a March, a little bit April, then you start. I don't know. For me, I did March, April, start getting ready for workouts and all that stuff. But after March coming, it's pretty much full steam ahead, working out, doing OTAs, doing field work, weight training, film, everything in between. So usually March on until the end of the season.
What do you think, Arlen?
Yeah, I think after draft season, I know it goes quick, and that's what these kids are going to be experienced. Sure, when you get picked up, typically you got maybe another week to get your bearings together at home. And then you're getting flown out for mini camp, taking a couple things, and then you got to come right back home. And then by the next time they report for OTAs or real mini camp, it's go time. So that's something that it's going to be interesting to see how these kids push through that and still work on their preparation, and their first interaction with their coaches and their first NFL experience is going to be through a iPad or a laptop. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a challenge for them. But like Tommy said, man, that's kind of been in you. You've been working for 3 months, getting ready for your pro day combine, so you're in shape when you're getting that phone call or your name call. So it ain't like you got to get ready. You've been training this whole time, and then you're in a couple of days or a week time, you're reporting for something. Well, now these kids going to be sitting for a month or two. You know what I mean? And now it's going to be up to them, all that hard work and preparation, especially the physical aspect. They're not in Florida or whatever they've been training and flying all over, wherever they're at home, that's going to be a change, because when they show up, now you're going to have that much pressure, especially these higher picks. They're going to expect you to be prepared mentally, physically, and it's crunch time. It's go time. If it seems like everyone's going to be pretty much reporting for training camp. You know, they're not going to have that camaraderie in the locker room where, you know, in the OTAs, you're filling people out. You know, you get to stay extra. You get to watch a little bit more film. So to me, man, they're really going to be working behind the 8 ball, but every team's going to be that way. So I don't know. I feel bad for some of the kids with that experience. You know what I mean? To kind of miss that, because I know they're riled up. They're excited. They want to get to the city. I know I never was in the Midwest until I came to St. Louis. I was a culture shock for me. You know what I mean? But it allowed me. I had that time. So come preseason, all that stuff rolling, it was nothing. It was your job.
So all that in mind, though, there is one more thing that's coming. How excited are you guys to see the logos?
I'm waiting for the munis.
Man, I thought they was going to come out last week.
Yeah, they're procrastinating.
Do they keep pushing it back? Or was it me? I thought it supposed to came out like a week ago.
They had mentioned April, and they said, well, wait till May. Fans are getting ticked because they think after what the Rams do with the logo, they're on thin ice with the fans. Let's just say that.
I think with the Chargers dropping theirs when they did it, I think it pushed them back.
Right, because they supposed to drop it like the next day or something.
Yeah, I think when the Chargers came out, and I think, you know, they like the Chargers and all that stuff. Hopefully it's not that similar, but I think they're probably like, we need to space this out a little bit more. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Hopefully, I think the Chargers got in front of them a little bit.
Well,
because the Chargers look all right.
Everybody's gotten in front of them, though, so to make a point.
We'll see.
Any thoughts, Tommy?
Not on the jerseys.
Well, I suppose we'll find out, and we'll be talking probably maybe next week about that. We'll see how that reaction goes. In the meantime, it is time for us to get out of here. You can find our podcast on Twitter at Rams Brawl, also on Facebook, Instagram, and so on. So if you find me on Twitter, DC Pod, find Tommy at Polley29 and Arlen Harris at Arlen Harris 33. Look for us where you can find podcasts. We're a growing podcast. The feedback has been pretty good thus far. These guys came ready today to make their feelings known, and we'll see if those feelings pan out in the upcoming season. Anything closing, guys? Anything you want to put out there before we roll out of here?
Yeah, I just want to apologize on behalf of the running back brotherhood that Tom Polley kind of turned his back on a fellow Seminole. So Cam Akers, welcome, man. We're glad you're around. I got faith in you. Let's go out here and get us a championship.
I hope he does. I'm not no hater. I hope he go out there and run for 2,000 yards next year.
There you go. All right.
So I can claim him as a Seminole.
Oh, boy. All right. So for the entire crew here, we're out of here. Have a great one.
All right, guys. All right.